Tide, it's the new FDA-approved weight loss medication that celebrities are raving about.
Oh, yeah. Do you think it'll work for me?
You can find out during an evaluation with labs at Balanced Medical Solutions. They'll help identify the root cause of your weight gain.
I'm ready. What's their number?
510-679-3300 or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Individual results may vary.
Good morning, area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
Oh, yes. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Pregame Show. I am Joe Spadoni. After a couple days off, I am back. Shout out Kyle Madsen for filling in for me. Appreciate that, Kyle. Come back about 5 or 10 pounds lighter. Had a quick bug I had to deal with there at home. Not fun. Don't wish that on anyone. But we're back, and there's a lot to get into. Warriors, they lost last night in a tough one in Minnesota, dropping it in overtime, 119-114. And man, just when you thought they were turning the corner, just when you thought things were going right for the Warriors, they're on a little winning streak, thought they could get it done. They were controlling that fourth quarter, double-digit lead, and it's gone. Just the inability to have depth for this team is coming up to bite them. Time in and time out for the Golden State Warriors. You cannot go 7.5, 8-man deep this early in the season, expect to get away with it time in and time out. The guys are winded, they're gassed, and it's showing. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570 is the number. If you would like to get involved, YouTube, hello, we are back. Tough loss for the Warriors last night. We're going to get into that. Tom Brady, he is retiring, I think for sure this time. He said his little goodbye announcement yesterday to the world. And listen, we saw that name floating out this past week because of the news of Brock Purdy, his UCL injury. Does he need Tommy John? Does he not? We're still waiting to hear what that looks like. Is the recovery 6 months? Is it a year? We shall see. But Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they spoke to the media yesterday, and they had an awful lot to say regarding the quarterback position, Purdy's timeline, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be very fascinating to see how that shakes out this offseason. Trey Lance, where does he fit in that? So we have an awful lot to get into and only an hour to do it. And again, the number, if you would like to get involved, is 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. But let's start with what happened last night in overtime in Minnesota.
Curry takes a deep three. That's on the way. No good. Ball game over. And the Warriors' maddening season continues with an overtime loss here in Minneapolis. Final score, Minnesota 119, Golden State 114.
And that'll do it. The Warriors' 3-game winning streak is snapped. They head to Denver tonight to take on the Nuggets. And we'll have all that coverage for you right here on 95.7 The Game, obviously, starting with Warriors Live. But, man, that was a game you should have won. But I feel like we've said that a lot about the Warriors this year. That's a game that they should have won, but didn't. What have we been saying all year on the pregame show? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with this team. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Now, you did have a 3-game winning streak, so I don't want to be acting like this was a monumental loss. You're still a game over 500, but this is a chance for you to stack more dubs, right? Start getting a couple games over 500. Start making a difference in the standings. But you drop one like that against a Rudy Gobert-less and Karl Anthony Towns-less Minnesota Timberwolves team that's, let's be honest, kind of struggled for most of the season. I know they're kind of right around where the Warriors are, but they were a fun, exciting team last year, and they've just been kind of struggling. Haven't been great. Man, just disappointing. Disappointing overall. And here's Steve Kerr talking about after the game.
Well, I thought, we had control of the game, and then I thought we just kind of gift wrapped it. And not to take anything away from Minnesota, I thought they were great. They took advantage of our mistakes and our lack of execution. And, D'Lo got hot, and, guys made big shots, but we missed box outs. We threw the ball away. We took really difficult shots. So everything we had done to that point to have control of the game, we stopped doing. So we got what we deserved.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Got what you deserved. You start, playing tight like the Warriors did. You saw Curry making some bad mistakes towards the end. Jordan Poole, not with the greatest of stat lines there. It's just, you keep waiting for this team to look like the Warriors team from last year. Maybe they're just not going to. Maybe they're just not going to. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Where are you at on the Golden State Warriors as it pertains to this season? Because I keep wanting to say, and I've said it in the past, that when push comes to shove for this team in the playoffs, I am taking their starting unit over any other in the West. And it's hard to say still when you keep getting losses like this every other day, it seems like. I can keep trying to talk myself into it. Yeah, this is the team to beat. Is it? Is this still the team to beat in the West? I mean, I know they're the defending champs, so you have to give them that honor, but man, it's getting harder and harder to defend them at times when you get losses like this. Here's more from Steve Kerr.
These are the best players in the world, even with their guys out. If you want to hand a team a few possessions, then we got guys who are going to take advantage. D'Lo hits like 3 threes after we throw the ball away a few times, and the whole game changes. So if you want to win, especially on the road, you have to execute. And, we've probably lost, 5-6 games like this on the road this year, just because of a lack of execution. We're not good enough to win without executing. We might have been a few years ago. We're not good enough now to win without executing in the fourth quarter on the road. So we're trying to correct that. We're trying to work on that, and we got to do better.
Got to do better. Kind of feels like a broken record at this point. If you're a Golden State Warriors fan, got to do better this year, got to keep doing better, got to do better. Well, they were doing better. You had a 3-game winning streak coming into this. You thought maybe it tied him and turned, whatever, changed the sheets, whatever, everything you needed to do was all good, but got that loss. Double-digit lead in the fourth quarter against a Rudy Gobert-less, Karl-Anthony Towns-less, D'Angelo Russell-led, and Anthony Edwards. I'll give him credit. He had a lot of huge shots. So did D'Lo in that fourth quarter, but for the most part, the Warriors were controlling that game, the pace, everything, and then just unraveled. And we've seen that far too many times through this season. Brandon on the YouTube chat, so inconsistent for the Dubs. They beat teams like Boston, Memphis, but lose to teams like Minnesota, Knicks, and Orlando. Exactly. They're a team that could beat anyone but lose to anyone. I think that's what you can say about the Golden State Warriors this year. They're a team that could beat anyone, but also capable of losing to anyone. And that's not good. A sign of a good team is beating the bad teams. And that is what the Warriors hung their hat on for a long time. Was able to take care of business against the bad teams. Now I get it. They're the defending champs. They're going to be getting everyone's best shot and whatnot. But you have to be able to close in this league, especially when, like Steve Kerr said, you're playing against the best of the best. Every single one of these teams that you're playing, hell, even the Orlandos, like Brandon mentioned, Paolo Banchero, guy's a baller. Like, you're going to be going against really good players. Anthony Edwards, D'Lo, yeah. Towns and Gobert are out. Edwards is a stud. And Russell, you know him. He can get hot. He can get hot as anyone in the league. So you have got to put them away when you can. You cannot have the mistakes to let these teams back in. And that's ultimately what cost the Warriors. Here's a final thought from Steve Kerr.
You show film and you practice, that's all you can do. So we will continue to try to address it and try to get better.
Continue to try and address the mistakes and try to get better. Well, I mean, what more can you say if you're Steve Kerr there? I mean, just disappointing. Disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, as we transition from that Warriors loss, and we'll still take your calls and texts at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. On the Warriors' loss, their season currently, where they stand in the West as a title defense, kind of seems like it's slipping away, but we'll still take your calls and texts there, and YouTube if you want to hit me up there, and on Twitter at Spadoni_Joe if you would like to hit me up there. But speaking of disappointing, the San Francisco 49ers, they had their season-ending presser with GM John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan, and they had an awful lot to say in regards to the season, in regards to Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, the quarterback position, all that sort of stuff, losing to D'Amico Ryans. There's just so much stuff that's happened this past week, and it all kind of seemingly just culminated in one big pile of steaming you-know-what on Sunday. Brock Purdy gets injured. Then the season's seemingly over. And now what's the status of Brock Purdy? Is he going to even play next year? Are we looking at a guy like Tom Brady maybe? Trey Lance, as he's getting his foot back in the door. What's going on with the 49ers? Just less than a week ago, it seemed like this team was Super Bowl bound and had a great chance to win a Super Bowl potentially. Maybe you found your guy of the future in Brock Purdy. Now, it's kind of like chaos. So John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they try to, talk it down, talk to the media. And man, there was a lot of good stuff to say. So we're going to hear a lot of that. Starting off with John Lynch and talking about Brock Purdy getting different opinions on his UCL injury.
I think he's continuing to, get some different opinions, talk to different people, which I think is smart. In an instance like this, there's a lot of smart people out there. You want to make sure you're thorough. He's continuing to go through that process. I think, the positive bit of news is that it seems to be consistent, that the right approach is that one that, it takes about that 6-month mark. Now, everybody will also say you never know until you get in there. Every surgeon will tell you that on every surgery. You always like getting in to see exactly. The MRI tells you a lot of the picture. So they're continuing to work through that process, but we seem encouraged by the prognosis that's kind of where it's at.
So a complete UCL tear is what the diagnosis was for Brock Purdy. Now, if you're a pitcher, and I'm sure a lot of you are baseball fans, even if you're not, usually that takes about a year of recovery, rehab, whatnot. Pitchers, arms, angles, slots, all that stuff, different than a quarterback, obviously. The wear and tear from a pitcher compared to a quarterback, I'm sure, is a lot different. I'm sure there's a lot of science that backs that up, yada, yada, yada. But it's not good, just to put it bluntly. At least 6 months, he's probably going to be sidelined. And it could be up to 9 months, according to some reports. Here's Kyle Shanahan on Purdy's timeline.
Once 3 months is over, they start the rehab of just building the arm back slowly. And by 6 months, it's built back. And that's when I started to ask questions. So does that mean ease them in and stuff like that? Like you would think of ACLs and things like that. And they said, no, the build-up's been from 3 to 6. And at 6 months, he is the same dude in full go. So that was the most encouraging part that I heard.
So what Kyle Shanahan heard was, well, maybe it's not 6 to 9 months. Maybe it is just the 6 months, and then he's good to go after that. That would be the best case scenario for Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers heading into the regular season. Now, where does that leave Trey Lance? Because I think this opens up the door for Trey in training camp to really try to push Brock for that starting quarterback position. And I know a lot of 49ers fans are going to be texting me like, Spadoni, we've seen enough from Lance. We've seen enough from Brock. Brock's the guy. Well, we haven't seen enough from Lance. We haven't. We saw a game against Houston 2 years ago. We saw a game and a half this year, one against the Bears and a half against the Seahawks. And then one, check that. We saw one against the Cardinals 2 years ago, I should have said. So all in all, 3.5 games of Trey Lance. It's not much. I need to see more. I would like to see more from the guy you traded the future for, basically. So does that leave an opportunity for Trey Lance to make things close. Here's Kyle Shanahan talking about Trey Lance and how close he is to returning from that ACL injury.
It sounds like he'll be pretty close around phase 1, phase 2. OTAs is the third phase, which I think that's 5 weeks after phase 1. So we'll see in phase 1. They're saying right around that time. So hopefully we'll be able to ease him in with drill work and things like that. And then by OTAs, he'll be able to go.
By OTAs, hopefully he'll be able to go. And that's huge for Lance, for a guy that needs to have all the reps available to him. And listen, don't get it twisted. This is an opportunity. Yeah, it sucks that Purdy's hurt, but if you're Trey Lance, you got to look at this like an opportunity. I need to throw my hat in there. It sucks my teammate got hurt, but I'm trying to be the face of this franchise. And this guy Brock came in for me while I was hurt and kind of took the league by storm. He's taking my job. I need to worry about my job, and I need to go in there and light some asses on fire and turn some heads. And that's going to be Trey Lance's job this season. Here's more from Kyle Shanahan on how he will handle this quarterback situation.
I don't think there's much to handle. One guy can't go, and the other guy should be ready for OTAs. So OTAs haven't been that consistent over the last 3-4 years since COVID. They keep being a little bit more different each year, so it's not as big of a deal as it used to be, but it sounds like we'll at least have one guy for it.
So you heard it from Shanahan there. You'll have Trey Lance. I think he will get the, benefit of the doubt early as QB1 because he'll just be healthy. And especially if you believe that Brock Purdy is the guy for the future, if you're Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, you don't want to rush him back. You want to be careful with him. At the same time, it's a great way to evaluate the guy you traded all that draft capital for in Trey Lance. The guy you thought was going to be the future. It might still be. It's such a fascinating just story development for the 49ers. I'm trying to think of another scenario like this, and I can't really think of any. Let me know what you think at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570 YouTube chat. Any other quarterback kind of story like this? And I'm like, with the Super Bowl ready roster that the 49ers have, they are basically going into next season, and maybe they'll add a veteran quarterback. I see on the Xfinity Mobile text line from the 415, we need to sign another quarterback like a Jimmy G kind of. And Jimmy G, we'll get to him in a second. Shanahan didn't mince words when asked about him. But it's fascinating that they are going into next season. I sound like a professor right now at a lecture at SF State. Shout out global warming class. It's fascinating that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are going in next season with two guys with not even a combined amount of regular season starts. It's like, hey, we got faith in Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. Okay. You sure you don't want like a Jacoby Brissett or something, or Nick Foles, something like that, just in case? Maybe that'll happen, maybe not. But, man, talk about rolling the dice. But if you're John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, you kind of have to. You made your bed with these two guys, and you have to lie in it now. And I don't think a guy like a Brissett coming in is really going to change much, because you need to see what you have with Lance at this point anyways. The guy's going to not be playing a lot of football now for better part of 3+ years. You need to see what you have in him. Here's Shanahan asked if Brock will be the starting quarterback.
Things I haven't even thought about at all. So right now we're just working on coaches, and I think that stuff will play itself out by training camp.
That stuff will play itself out by training camp. Typical Kyle Shanahan. By the way, this was peak Kyle Shanahan. If you just saw his expression, his face, clearly pissed off how the season ended. His quarterback getting hurt, all these questions. I understand. It's not fun, not exciting, but it was definitely peak Kyle Shanahan if you saw the facial reactions. John Lynch smirking at a lot of the answers. It was just kind of funny to watch the whole thing unfold. And here's Shanahan when asked again if they will look to adding a veteran quarterback.
I know we have 2 starters on our team right now that I believe we can win with. So when you have that situation, you're not that eager to go looking around.
not that eager to go looking around, so didn't answer yes or no. My gut feeling is they will add in a veteran on the cheap, maybe a Mike Glennon, what have you, $1 million. Let's see what we got kind of thing. Here's John Lynch, the general manager, asked if he will be the general manager in 2023. A lot of speculation around John Lynch going to the media. Remember, he was on with the Morning Roast a few weeks ago talking about maybe joining Amazon. They offered him a bunch of money. He turned it down. John Lynch, will you be the general manager in 2023?
I think so. You good, Kyle? No, I plan on being here. I really do, and I'm committed to doing this, and I'm having a great time doing it, and committed to finding a way to get a little bit better. I'm real proud of what we were able to do this year. That's hard to say because our expectations and our standards were to win the whole thing.
So John Lynch sticking around. I think that's good news for the 49ers as a whole. He's been probably the executive of the year, just adding Christian McCaffrey alone, but the addition of Brock Purdy, how hot he was coming onto the scene, just an unbelievable job of Kyle and John Lynch in tandem throughout this season. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Get a lot of feedback. It's like a feed whacker. On the Xfinity mobile text line, 707, what about Derek Carr? Can we get Fitzpatrick out of retirement from the 415? 916, Kirk Cousins and RG3, same situation. Great call, 916. Very similar situation. Thing with Kirk, though, is I don't think Kirk also got injured. So this would be like if RG3 and Kirk both got injured and they were both going on both those guys next season. Like, that would be crazy to me. That would be nuts. And that's basically what Kyle Shanahan's doing. So that's a great pull from the Kirk Cousins and RG3 situation, a situation that Kyle Shanahan and his dad Mike know firsthand. So, Shanahan, what are you going to do about your defensive coordinator leaving for the Texans?
I love D'Amico, one of the best coaches I've ever been around, best people I've ever been around. Him and Jamila mean the world to us, and really wish they weren't going, but it's more than deserved and more than earned, and I think they made the best hire that was by far available because D'Amico is going to be a great one. He already has been. I love our defensive staff. I love our defense, trying to get something where we don't have to turn much over. I would love to keep our same staff, so I'm going to talk to some guys on our staff. I'm going to talk to some guys outside of our staff, and hopefully whichever way we decide to go, whether we bring in a new guy or not, that it's someone who can work with who we have and what we've accomplished here because I love the scheme that we run, and I feel the foundation we have on the D-line, at linebacker, at corner, at safety, I think our players fit very well in it too. So hoping to find someone who fits with us personality-wise and scheme-wise.
It's going to be a huge hole to replace. I know Shasky kind of gave out his top 5 DCs of his lifetime for the San Francisco 49ers, and he had D'Amico Ryans right up there in the top 5. He's been special to watch. What he did against playoff performances in Lambeau last year alone was massive. What he was doing against the Eagles this past week, for a while, it seemed like that was the only thing keeping them in that game. That hard-hitting game against Dallas last week, just a lot of performances, memorable performances from D'Amico Ryans in that defense, and he will be missed. But to look to the future, they've interviewed Steve Wilks, so we'll see if that's an area where they will be adding a former head coach and a guy who many thought should have kept the head coaching gig in Carolina, but that went to Frank Reich. But that would be a huge addition, I believe, to this staff if they were able to get a guy like Steve Wilks, highly respected around the league, and did a hell of a job as interim last year with the Carolina Panthers. Now here's Shanahan talking about whether D'Amico will take some of the San Francisco staff with him.
Too early to know. I mean, I know he loves our staff, and he knows I'm working through that too right now. So D'Amico and I will be probably talking a lot here over the next 2 weeks and just trying to do what's best for the 49ers. I know he's trying to do what's best for Houston, and we're both going to try to do what's best for all the families involved too.
That's an interesting dynamic I don't think a lot of us think about. When a guy like, let's say in the past, Robert Saleh, a Mike McDaniel, guys like that get head coaching positions and take people from that staff, like a Mike LaFleur, right? Or even some of the players, a Wes Welker, right? Goes to Miami with Mike McDaniel. It's very interesting. Like, how do you communicate that with your head coach? Like, yeah, all right, I'm getting this other job. By the way, I'm taking a bunch of the guys that you really like, and they're coming with me now because they're going to get better opportunities. Wait, what the hell? But you heard it from Shanahan there. They communicate with these things. They'd probably go into a room together again on a conference call, like, put all these names out here. These are the guys I want. Well, I think I'm willing to part with these guys. They've worked, they've earned it, but I need to keep these guys with me. And like you heard Shanahan there, well, you have to think about the families involved, getting up to travel. Do they want to move to Texas? Do they want to stay here in the Bay? All that sort of stuff. So just a little fascinating dynamic I don't think a lot of us kind of look at when defensive coordinators and coordinators leave for head coaching positions from a certain team. We're going to react more from Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. We'll hear more from them on the other side. A lot to break down as Shanahan and Lynch talk to the media as their season came to an end, and they will be looking now to the NFL draft in a few months, getting ready for that. The Warriors will still be reacting to that loss. They fall to Minnesota in overtime, 119-114. They are back in action tonight against the Denver Nuggets, and all that coverage is going to be free right here on 95.7 The Game. You're not going to miss that. Warriors live tonight leading up to the game with John Dickinson. So don't fall. Don't go anywhere. Don't fall for the okie doke, if you will. We'll have all that coverage for you here, right here on 95.7 The Game. More 49ers, and the GOAT himself calls it a career. More on that and his announcement next on 95.7 The Game.
If you're considering remodeling your home in 2023, talk with your architect or designer about utilizing Golden State Window and Door for your upcoming project. Each location across the Bay Area features beautifully planned displays. You'll be surprised by the variety of styles. Their respected partners include Anderson, Milgard, Marvin, and many other top brands. For locations, images, and more, visit goldenstatelumber.com. Since 1954, Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
So, the other day, I bought an extremely chatty...
Boring story time!
Make that an extremely catty cockatoo.
You're welcome!
Apparently, the pet store won't take it back. But, hey, I'll manage.
I love that for you!
Just like I manage without home internet.
No, you don't!
Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable.
Aw, Birdie likes to stream.
But I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
My lady friend. It's mating season, duh.
No home internet? It's not that bad.
No, not there.
It is that bad. Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
It's the Red and Gold reaction on 95.7 The Game.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, maybe even Jimmy Garoppolo being back. Yeah. I don't give a damn where the Niners go at quarterback at this point. Why? I just want to win the Super Bowl.
Brought to you by Zenni, the official eyewear of the San Francisco 49ers. Shop from over 3,000 styles at 80% off retail prices. Exclusively at Zenni.com. Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Talking Warriors falling to the T-Wolves, 119-114. They are now 26-25 on the season, the Golden State Warriors, that is. And they are back in action tonight against the Denver Nuggets in Denver. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and co. Warriors live at 5 o'clock tonight, leading up to the 6 o'clock tip-off with the great Tim Roy and Jim Barnett, who will be on the call. And we'll have all that coverage for you right here on 95.7 The Game. But for this segment at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, and the YouTube chat, hello, we start here with an announcement from the greatest quarterback of all time.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. Like, you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me. My family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
If you didn't know, that was Tom Brady, who announced his retirement from the NFL a year after he announced his retirement last year, in which he came back. This time it felt a little more official. I don't know. Maybe it was just the video and he sounded more emotional, but I think he is done with what happened this past season, how that season ended and culminated, the drama that happened. I have a feeling that this is it for Tom. Now I can see why a lot of you are thinking, I don't believe you. Maybe he has one more year left in him with the 49ers. Let's see. I think he's done. Now, if that's the case, and Tom Brady's done, he just had the greatest career a North American athlete has ever had in the history of sports. He's the greatest athlete in the history of America. Full stop. The quarterback is the most important and hardest position to play in sports. Full stop. And Tom Brady was the GOAT. Undisputed at that position. And here's just some of the records that he had. Tom Brady regular season records. 333 games started. 251 wins by a starting quarterback. 89,214 passing yards. 649 passing touchdowns. 7,753 completions. Touchdowns thrown to different receivers, 98. Division titles, 19. Pro Bowl appearances, 15. Oldest player to win NFL MVP at 40. Oldest player to be named first team All-Pro at 40. Seasons with one team, 20 with the Patriots. Only player to beat all 32 NFL teams. Postseason records for Tom Brady. 48 games started. 35 wins by a starting quarterback. Consecutive playoff wins, 10 from 2001 to 2005. Passing yards, 13,400. Passing yards in a game, 505. Passing touchdowns, 88. Interceptions, 39. Completions, 1,200. And game-winning drives, 14. These are just, I could keep going. Like, this is unreal, the amount of records that this guy's just going to have forever. He's the best player and most, I wouldn't say important athlete, but he is the greatest athlete that I've ever seen in my lifetime. If we're all going to agree that the quarterback position is the most important and hardest position in sports to play, then Tom Brady's the best at it. Then by definition, he is the best athlete. That is how I look at it. What say you at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, YouTube chat. Can we stop with that cockatoo commercial? I actually kind of like that. Was that Xfinity cockatoo commercial? Dibbs was talking to me about that earlier. And shout out the Xfinity mobile text line. I love that commercial, and I love Xfinity mobile. But Tom Brady, it sucks because a part of me just wanted to see the guy keep playing. And maybe that's just selfish because for most of my life, like my earliest memory of football is probably in 99 with the Titans coming up just short, the Steve McNair Titans coming up just short against the Kurt Warner Greatest Show on Turf Rams in the Super Bowl. Like, that's my earliest memory. And then after that, it's pretty much the Tuck rule, Payne, obviously, and then just Tom Brady. Like, that guy has been a quarterback since I've been in kindergarten or first grade, basically. All I've known is Tom Brady as a quarterback in football. Like, that's all I've known my whole life, pretty much. So it is kind of sad in a way to see him go. And you can hear the emotion in his voice when he was saying goodbye. And there's never going to be another one like him, ever. That drive, that will to win, that passion, wanting to keep playing. Obviously, sometimes to the detriment of his personal life. But you know what? He kept it real. He wanted to play. He went out on his own terms. And I know a lot of you are going to say, yeah, Tom versus time. Well, time won. I'm not ready to say that. I'm not ready to say that. I think the arm strength was there. I think all of that was still and most important position in all of sports. You have to be the face of the franchise. You have to lead by example. And other than a few deflated balls, I think Tom Brady did that well. Yeah, he whines a lot to the refs, but who doesn't? Think of a guy that played for the San Diego Chargers that used to do it a lot. Shout out Phillip Rivers. But you know what? Tom asked a lot of his teammates. He yelled at them on the sideline a lot. Whether you like him or you don't, you hate his guts because they're always winning. I get it. There's never going to be another one like him. And when you see guys like Aaron Rodgers still in the league, LeBron James, Steph Curry getting up there, you can't take these guys for granted because in a few years, they're going to be gone. Serena, she retired. Federer, retired. Nadal, he's hurt. Looks like he might be retiring pretty soon. Who knows? Djokovic, individual greatness. Messi, just saw him win the World Cup. Ronaldo. This golden era, starting to fade. It's starting to go. And Tom Brady, he's calling it quits. So, wanted to say our goodbyes to Tom Brady for the football portion of his career. Now look to the media portion, right? He's got that lucrative deal with Fox. And it's going to be interesting to see if he does a little booth work with Fox heading into the Super Bowl, because obviously the Super Bowl will be carried by Fox this year. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson on the call. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes into that field. Wish him all the luck in the world, because I'm going to have to listen to him all in these big games that the 49ers are going to be in. And I don't want him to suck, because that would be brutal. It's not easy, though, I'll say that. Guys have tried it in the past. I remember Joe Montana tried his luck on it. Wasn't for him. Jerry Rice, he tried it. Wasn't for him. It is tough to do, and it is not easy to do what guys like Peyton Manning and Eli do in the booth coming from the football field. So wish Tom all the best in that future endeavor, but it's going to suck not to see him on the football field anymore. That is for sure. Got one more segment here for you before tossing it over to the morning roast. Bonte Hill and Alan Stiles will be in for Joe Shasky. Maybe we'll get a quick thoughts from Alan on that Warriors loss last night, on Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, a little more into their conversations on the other side as well. This is the pregame show, Joe Spadoni, and if you would like to get involved, it's 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, YouTube chat as well, Twitter, @Spadoni_Joe, all that. One more segment coming up here for you on the pregame show, 95.7 The Game.
If you want to lose weight once and for all and have tried fad diets and dubious products with little success, listen up. The FDA recently approved the weight loss medication semaglutide, and it's helping millions of patients from Hollywood to Broadway lose weight for good. At Balanced Medical Solutions, we can determine if this breakthrough medication is right for you. Step 1 is to identify any underlying conditions that can thwart your efforts, such as a hormonal imbalance. Stop guessing and arm yourself with knowledge. Our medical evaluation with labs is only $99. Call now, 510-679-3300, or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Investing is confusing. Dawn raids, triple witching hour, candlesticks, crown jewels, bears, bulls, bear hugs, blue chips. It's one big word salad of uncertainty. Fortunately, Fremont Bank now has incredible rates on their savings accounts and CDs. And while savings accounts and CDs may not be known for their great rates at your current bank, at Fremont Bank, you can get great rates from a great local bank. To learn more, stop in or visit us online. We'll explain it all in plain language. Fremont Bank, serving the Bay Area since 1964. Member FDIC.
When back to the office means back in traffic.
Tracking the 3 right lanes, multiple emergency crews on the scene.
You can rely on your Northern California Honda Dealers Traffic Center.
On the shoulder now, so that's good. Traffic is getting by.
From your traffic leader, KCBS.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off of every Warriors game. Brought to you by Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity.
Golfers, tee it up at the Golf Mart and go farther and faster with the new G430 woods and irons from Ping. The Ping G430 woods introduce the next generation of speed with new face technology for longer and more accurate shots. The new Ping G430 irons are designed with pure flex technology for faster ball speed and more distance. Swing into the Golf Mart and get custom fit on the new Ping G430 woods and irons today. The Golf Mart, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
It's the Red and Gold reaction on 95.7 The Game.
Being a great player is doing it year after year after year.
This is insane.
And I would say the same thing if Trey Lance did what Brock Purdy did.
See, I'm buying all my stock in Trey Lance. I never sold it.
Yeah, but
Red Eye right now. Brock is a top 15 quarterback right now in the NFL.
Brought to you by the SF Sheriff's Office. Your future begins here. Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. One more segment before tossing over to Bonte Hill. And Alan Stiles will be in for Joe Shasky. Anthony Slater, our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider at 8 o'clock. Benjamin Albright, 8:30. He is an NFL insider based out of Denver. Obviously, a lot happening up there. Sean Payton going to Denver in exchange for a first-round pick. And I want to say, what was it, second? Third round? I'll get the finals there for you in a second. But Sean Payton going to the Broncos to try to conjure up some magic, some of that old magic with Russell Wilson up there. And it better work is all I'm saying, because they don't have any draft capital. They have a lot of dead cap money tied to Russell Wilson. So, man, that is, talk about a gamble right there. If you're the Denver Broncos, you better hope that Sean Payton is not a John Gruden 2.0 situation, because if it is, you are screwed. And that franchise that you just bought, shout out Walmart family, you guys are going to be set back for years and years to come in a division where you are already playing kind of running uphill, if you will, against Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Andy Reid, what have you. Alan Stiles in studio with me right now. Alan, appreciate you. This isn't the cross Jover, but it's the cross Alan and Stiles Spadoni, whatever you want to call it. Alan, it's good to talk to you.
We'll just keep it simple.
Keep it simple. It's just a regular crossover. Alan, the Warriors, man, just when you thought you could start trusting them, they blow a double-digit lead to the Rudy Gobert-less and Karl Anthony Townless Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, that's your problem, Spadoni. You started believing.
Yes.
I stopped about... How many times have we tried to have this conversation? Maybe about 3 or 4 times. There's been...
That's about right.
They started to get it going. As soon as you believe, they try to they try to turn the corner and they stub their toe. That's just what they've been doing. So to me, I'm a bit numb to it at this point. When I talk, in the night show or any other time I'm on, all of it is just, hey, all we got to do is get to the playoffs. That's what the fans keep telling me. So that's where I'm at. I have no more. I have no more thoughts in terms of, oh, well, if they can do this, that, whatever. That's how the fan base feels. Just get to the playoffs, even in a play-in, right? That's not how I feel. I think you need to be. The good thing is the West is they're calling it the Midwest because every team is mid.
That's good.
So
I like that.
The good thing is nobody's really separated besides the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. And if you could get to a 3 seed or a 4 seed, I feel much more confident about that. But you're running out 7-8 guys trying to stack up wins and not being successful. It's not a great look. It's not a great look, but hey, Stephen, Clay, and Draymond, they've done it before, so nobody's worried.
It's also not sustainable. Like, these guys are going to be exhausted come playoff time.
Well, think about
That's
it.
the thing.
Think about it. You're talking about playoff time. Do you not think there's a correlation between running out 7-8 guys, 3 of them who are in their 30s, right, and the fourth quarter not going very well? There's a correlation there.
A lot of short shots from Steph yesterday, a lot of lazy passes, just tired, right? Like, that's what you can chalk that up to. Is a good point. And now you're on the back end of back-to-back. I'm going to be interested to see who's all playing in this game tonight in Denver. And obviously, all that coverage for you right here on 95.7 The Game, starting at 5 with Warriors Live, leading up to 6 o'clock tip-off with Tim Roy and Jim Barnett. But who's going to play in that game? Is that just another scheduled loss, if you will?
Yeah.
Nuggets, best team in the league. Maybe they get up for it. I don't know. But God, this is one of those games, by the way, too, where typical Warriors, they might win it. And it's like, see, we can beat the best teams. But even then, it's just like, so what? Like, if you're going like 7 or 8 man deep the entire season, again, I'm not going to trust you. Does a move need to be made, Alan? Like, what else can they do at this point?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, Jared Vanderbilt's a name that's been coming up a good bit. I don't know who, I'm really interested when we talk to Anthony Slater a little later, who is on the chopping block, right? Who is on the chopping block, or I guess the trading block terms of the Warriors? I heard that rumor about Pirtle a couple weeks ago, how the Spurs didn't want Wiseman or Kuminga. Not that it was a package, but whatever combination the Warriors tried to conjure up, the Spurs weren't having it. So I don't know. Everybody wants to make a move, but you do know the Warriors have to give something back, right? So who are you willing? And no offense to this guy, because he still might be a dude, but everybody, the text line, the call line, every time you bring up trades, well, just give him Moses Moody. Don't you think that if everybody is willing to give away Moses Moody, that the guys that get paid a lot of money to do this on the other end, the front offices of other teams, might not want Moses Moody, or might not only want Moses Moody? You're going to have to give up somebody that you probably don't want to.
No, it's a good point, and it's unfortunate for Moses Moody, because I thought he was going to be a good player and a rotation guy this season. It just hasn't worked out for him. Enough there for the Warriors at the time being, because I felt like I should have opened with the Warriors today, and I did open up the Warriors, but the big story that was kind of gnawing at me, if you will, was all that sound from Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch yesterday.
Oh, man.
The face that I saw from Kyle Shanahan was broken, beaten, and defeated yesterday. Like, that guy, in fairness, it's been a rough, past, 48, 54 hours, whatever you want to say. These last 72 hours have been brutal for Kyle Shanahan. Losing your quarterback, might be out for up into through the regular season, might be in time for the regular season. Now you have another rookie. Well, not really a rookie because he's Trey Lance, but he's kind of a rookie still because you don't know what you have with him. Is he going to be the guy of the future? He gave up all his draft capital. Do you need to bring a veteran? All these questions need to be asked. He's getting questioned whether he is a bad coach because he's getting all these quarterbacks hurt.
Right.
He was just going through the ringer yesterday. And man, I know a lot of fans are down on Kyle Shanahan, but you are not going to get a better coach than this guy. And I've been seeing it from the text line, from the YouTube chat. They're tired of him, all this sort of stuff. Let's take a deep breath. You have a Super Bowl roster. It's a very difficult situation that they're going to have to navigate now with Tom Brady being out of the question, seemingly. We'll see if he's going to get out of there. I think he's done. But a fascinating question unfolding here, Alan. Are they going to add a veteran? Are they going to stick with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
I don't know. And we got plenty, trust me, I got plenty of things to say about Kyle Shanahan, because it's interesting the take that you have. The way I see it, it's almost as if you're stuck in a really cool purgatory, because you're so much better than so many other teams, but you haven't won the big one. So you feel a bunch of teams are saying, hey, Niner fans are spoiled, right? A la a Raiders fan like you or myself. Yes. But at the same time, I'm not going to call a Niners fan spoiled for wanting to not be the bridesmaid anymore. I'm just not going to do it, because I get it. I mean, if you're not in it at all, there's a feeling that you have. But if you are in it, the mix every single year and can't get over the hump, that's just frustrating in a different way. So I get it. you're probably not going to find a better coach than Kyle Shanahan. That doesn't mean you can't be annoyed. And look, from what I saw, a lot of people didn't really mind what Kyle Shanahan said. I thought that he could handle things a little bit differently. Like I said, I'll get into that a little bit later. But as far as the QB situation is concerned, I know they said they feel good with Trey and they feel good with Brock. You got to get a vet. And if you look around at the vet names, a Taylor Heineke kind of speaks to me. A couple guys that they're not going to be your QB1 or hopefully not, but somebody that just kind of, I've heard Andy Dalton a bit where it's like, hey, you just get a guy that can just shore everything up because you got Brock, you got Trey, you want them to battle it out. But as we saw this season, anything can happen. And Josh Johnson, unfortunately, he's a free agent, by the way. You can bring him back. Just you know what? You got to make him go Teddy Two Gloves.
The Ish Smith
you
of
get
the
some
NFL.
Teddy Two Gloves, get some cutters on him, so the next time he takes a snap, he catches the football. But, there's a lot of guys that are available that you can at least, bring in. We got somebody here, and we can at least move forward with our young guys. But if something happens, whether it be development or whether it be health, we'll be okay.
No, it's a good point, and I think that's what's so frustrating for a lot of 49ers fans is they felt like this was the year. And I kind of felt like that too, because the way Brock Purdy was playing up until this point was like, is this guy going to make a mistake? Like, this guy's just playing like, and now he was looking a little shaky the last couple of games. He was looking more and more like a rookie. But that being said, like, we didn't really get to see what he was going to do in this game, and that's the frustrating part. Because
we saw what Hassan Reddick was going to do.
We saw what Hassan. That's the thing. Like, we saw that the front line, the front four for the Eagles were dominating. Like, that was going to be maybe a theme of the game. Who knows? But that's the frustrating part. Now you got an injury. Is Brock Purdy going to be the same guy now? Like, is that going to change the whole dynamic? Again, I was saying it earlier. This is a big opportunity for Trey Lance.
It is.
Like, this is like. You saw the entire season. You saw Jimmy Garoppolo take over for you. That must have been hard. You saw the third string take over for you and look even better than Jimmy Garoppolo and you. That must have been hard. This is your moment, and this is your opportunity to seize right now if you are Trey Lance.
Right. And I don't know, athletes will say, well, I don't watch, Klay Thompson has said, I'm not doing the social media thing anymore. I'm sure it's hard. I mean, even in our jobs, it's hard not to see what people are saying when they talk about us. So there's no way that Trey Lance didn't see, any of the chatter. Hey, you got Brock Purdy. He fits the scheme better. You just ship out Trey Lance. So there's no way he didn't see any of that stuff. So I'm sure he's using it as motivation. No disrespect to Brock Purdy, but Trey Lance is probably thinking, look, this was supposed to be mine. I got injured, but I'm back, and we're going to battle it out. That's what this is supposed to be.
No, it's a good point. Absolutely. And real quick, Alan, we got 2 more minutes here. Alan Stiles is going to be in for Joe Shasky joining Bonte Hill in the Morning Roast. Coming up next, Anthony Slater at 8, our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider, and Benjamin Albright, 8:30, NFL insider based out of Denver. Tom Brady, hanging him up, Alan. I said, and I'm getting a lot of flack for it on the text line and on the YouTube chat, I think he's the greatest athlete in the history of North America. I think the quarterback is the most important and the hardest position to play in all of sports. And I think he was the greatest at that position. That was my take. What say you?
The greatest athlete. I can't say. I mean, I might go team athlete. Okay. I can't go athlete straight up.
Okay.
There's too much. And we have to do this conversation, right? We've had to do it twice, actually, thanks to Tom Brady.
Might do it a third time. Who knows?
By the way, I was on with Shamari the first time Tom Brady retired. It's just, it feels like it's just coming on back around, which is exactly what it's doing. But I can't go straight up athlete, but I could go greatest team.
Shamari
athlete.
Was taking Joe Montana, wasn't he? I think I was tuning in that day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That was the take.
Of course.
Everyone was crushing him.
So team athlete, sure, I can go with that with Tom Brady, but athlete straight up, it's just, I don't know who I would pick. I mean, you have a Michael Phelps, you have a Simone Biles, you have a lot of people that you don't even think of.
Serena,
if you go in that direction.
Djokovic,
what do you do with Tiger Woods?
Woods.
Then you go back to the team sports and the Michael Jordan. So I think that's why I have no clue who I think is the greatest athlete of all time. But in terms of greatest team athlete, it's Tom Brady and Michael Jordan in whatever order you want to put them.
All right, I like that. That's Alan Stiles. He's going to be joining Bonte Hill next on the Morning Roast. That's all for the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, Anthony Slater, 8 o'clock. Benjamin Albright, 8:30, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game.